Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good day. I bid to Madam ZABRI. Today we will present about our finding on topic social and effective strategies used among non-Chinese students in Chinese school in Terengganu. I will start with introduction, which is background of the research. Based on Kamarul Shukri, Ni Muhammad Rahimi and Muhammad Amin on 2013, they said that social strategy and effective strategy are the procedure devised from language learning strategy that taken by students to make it easier to acquire, remember, and use the knowledge so that the lesson is simpler, enjoyable, autonomous, and productive, and can be easily transmitted to new learning environment. We move to research objective. We have three research objective, which is, for the first, identify the social strategies among the non-Chinese students in Chinese primary school in Terengganu in learning the Chinese language. For the second research objective, which is identify the effective strategies among the non-Chinese students in Chinese primary school in Terengganu in learning the Chinese language. And for the last one is identify how frequent they use Chinese language in a classroom. Next is research question. We have three research questions based on research objective. For the first one, what are the social strategies among the non-Chinese students in Chinese primary school in Terengganu in learning the Chinese language? For the second question is what are the effective strategies among the non-Chinese students in Chinese primary school in Terengganu in learning the Chinese language? And for the last research question is how frequent they use Chinese language in classroom. Next, I pass to my teammate.
Thank you, Munirah. So move on to the next part, which is literature review. So the first one is definition of term. In this study, we have two terms. The first one is social strategies and the second one is effective strategies. What is social strategies? So social strategies is an action taken by students when interacting with others in various different situations. So this strategy is to identify the relationship between the student with the teacher and also their classmate, whether the student play an active role while learning Chinese language. And the second term is effective strategies. It means a strategy that enables students to be in control of their emotion, motivated, and have a positive attitude in learning a language. So it makes the language learning more consistent. So move on to the next part, which is research related to previous studies. LLS researchers such as Rubin, O'Malley, Cameron, and Macaro have turned the social and effective strategies into one of the constructs that formulate each of their LLS classification. Next, Griffiths also said that discovered a positive correlation between course level and reported the number of language learning strategy used. And the last one is Park. He said he revealed a positive linear relationship between strategy use and language proficiency. That's all for me. I pass to my colleague. Thank you.
Thank you to AINI. Now I'll proceed to the methodology of the research. As for the research design, we choose the non-Chinese students in Chinese primary school, whereas the SGKC Chonghua Weisin in Kuala Terengganu, to complete the quantitative questionnaire. So as for the research tool, we use the quantitative method. The questionnaire is adapted from another study by Kamarul Shukri, Muhammad Rahimi, and Muhammad Amin in 2013. So the questionnaire consists of 4 sections, in which the section A is on demographic information, section B on social strategies, section C on effective strategies, and the last one, section D, is on the score for students' attribution, talking the Chinese language. So for example, it comprises of 16 females and 9 female students who have been studying the Chinese language for more than 3 years, which are 3 students in standard 4, 12 students in standard 5, and 10 students in standard 6. As for the data collection procedure, we went to the school in the evening and we chose 25 students from Standard 4, Standard 5 and Standard 6 to answer the questionnaire. So first we gave a brief talk about the purpose of the study, and then we distributed to the questionnaires to all of the students, and then we waited until all of the students finished completing the survey. So as for the data analysis, we analyzed the data using the SPSS statistics software. So that's all from me. I'll pass to my colleague.
Now we proceed with data analysis for the section A, demographic information. As you can see on the slide, this table represents about the respondent of the survey. So the orange symbolize for girls and blue represent for boys. So our respondent consists of 16 girls and 9 boys, in which 3 girls from Standard 4, 4 boys and 8 girls from Standard 5, and 5 girls and 5 boys from Standard 6. So for the next section, I pass to my colleague.
From our finding on section B for the social strategy, we found that the statement for number 5 show the highest percentage, which is 48% of the students strongly agree with the statement. The statement is, I have asked question in Chinese language. Only the asking for the explanation or verification on number 5 from the asking question sub-strategy is used by Malay students in Chinese school at high level. Other strategy like asking to make correction from asking question sub-strategy and expanding the understanding of the culture of the language learned from the empathizing with other sub-strategy are used at medium-high frequency level, where we can see on the statement number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and 6. From this finding, it is contrast with the statement from Pulitzer and McGarty from the 1985, who report that ASEAN students are quite reluctant to use social strategy that entail asking questions or asking for verification. Next, I would like to show you a video based on this finding.
Thank you to MUNIIRAH. So now let us move on to our next section, which is section C, effective strategies. So effective strategy, essentially what it means is that how the student would control their emotion when learning a new languages. As researchers, our findings stated that item number 3 is the highest among all the strategies that we have listed. Item number 3 is I give myself a reward or treat when I do well in Chinese. The lowest that we found in effective strategies is I talk to someone else about how I feel when I am learning Chinese. Based on the percentage, there's actually 0% for item number 6. For item number 3, the highest, the percentage is 36%. So overall, what this suggests to researchers is that students rarely practice effective strategies, and the only strategies that they do seem to be comfortable with is item number 3. They give themselves a reward. So to illustrate our findings, I would like to show you a video to illustrate what we just said. Alright, so now let us proceed with our final section, which is section D, score for students' attribution talking in Chinese language in Chinese language class. So the highest item for this section for frequency in section D is item number 4. I am confident to talk in Chinese with my friends and also item number 7, which is I prefer the teachers to correct my mistakes during speaking activities. Both of these items scored very high when we did our research. Both scored 92% out of overall percentage. So based on our findings, we feel that there is a lot of what teachers can do to better themselves and also help students in the classroom. We think that teachers should reward good students with good marks or praising words, or punish other students with low marks, because again, connecting back to effective strategies before, students seems to do well when they reward themselves. So we feel that teachers also should do the same thing. They should also reward the students if they did achieve good marks. Teachers also should correct mistakes, but not say or do anything which might create anxiety in the student in speaking up and making mistakes. This again, we can relate back to social strategy. Students, they are very comfortable if the teacher corrects themselves. In fact, the students prefer if the teacher corrects their mistake, and also the student also are not afraid to ask the teachers if they do need correction when learning Chinese language in classroom. So we feel that lecturers can demotivate students in learning Chinese if the teacher is nervous, if the teacher lost class control, and if they use scolding words. So these three things are very negative reinforcement in the researcher's opinion. So in order to avoid that, we feel that the school needs to adopt a more encouraging environment for the student to talk in Chinese, especially those students which Chinese language is not their first language. And an environment that is not conducive for the use of Chinese, on the other hand, makes it difficult for the students to practice using the language. So we feel that in that particular classroom and in that particular school, the school is very accommodating to non-Chinese students, and they do accommodate to students whose first language is not Chinese. So to illustrate our finding for section D, we would like to show you the video to illustrate.
你什么名字？你叫什么名字？你叫什么名字？你叫什么名字？我的名字是嘎嘎。嘎嘎。
Thank you to my friends. Okay, moving on to the conclusion and recommendations. Okay, as we all know, the findings of this study have shown that students always use the Chinese language during the lessons. Okay, they ask the questions in Chinese, and they also do talk in Chinese among their colleagues. Okay, we all know that they also reward themselves when they do well in Chinese, especially in the examinations. They buy themselves candies, sweets, and others. Okay, therefore, to increase the effectiveness of the lessons, for recommendations, the teachers themselves need to polish the methods of using the strategy and help students in language learning. The strategies such as self-calming, making positive statements, discussing feelings with someone, and asking for explanation should be systematically taught. Okay, this can be done at the end of the lessons, where the teachers give the students some time to talk about their feelings with their friends. Okay, for the next recommendations, the teachers should help the students to try using other tactics as well, such as writing in the journals and developing their knowledge of the culture of the language that they learn, which is the Chinese culture. Okay, for the journals, the student should submit it on every Thursday, so that the teachers can know the students' achievement or their feelings on the learning, about their feelings when they learning the Chinese language. Okay, for the students themselves, they must change their attitude and perceptions towards the Chinese language. And lastly, the school should accommodate opportunities for the students to use the Chinese language naturally, and they should give the materials, the give the materials in abundance, and the students can access the materials with no trouble, so that the students can learn the language without any difficulties. So I think that's all from us. Thank you.